Hello and welcome to the round 13 preview. It is the Blues and it is the Suns Sunday 1:10 p.m. at the MCG. And there's a bit of anxiety every week now because you don't know what's coming. Well, like you think you know what's coming. There's always that little bit of hope that the following week will be the week that it turns around, and not the season, but just the next win. The story of this year has just been phenomenal to watch. I don't think anyone saw this coming. I don't think anyone saw 6 losses coming in a row, or 8 of the last 9. Maybe we overperformed last year, and maybe we're just underperforming this year, somewhere in between. I don't know. But alas, there's a game on Sunday, and when there's a game coming up, there's always a chance to be better than what we were last week. And at this point, I'm just going with a little bit of hope that something different happens. This week's been one with a few different angles. Probably start with, the fans and the video, the guy that took the video and was screaming at them, and that blew up and went viral and garnered attention. And when you think about, if you're a player, you've had a shit performance, you've lost the game, you're going down the race, and you got that mob of your own fans turning on you. Like, that's a scary place to be. People who work in clubland I've spoken to, and they say, like, it's just the worst feeling. It just compounds everything. And, I look at it a little deeper. For me, it's, you can look at the micro and the words that were said and all of that, and were they right, were they wrong? Everyone's a general after the battle, and everyone wants to be position themselves as someone that signals, what's right or wrong. And I'm not here to do that, but my take on it all is that it's just a deeper picture of where we're at. That passion, that European fire that represents a lot of our fan base comes out for the good and for the bad. And when it's good, no one's complaining, because that same passion is buying that extra membership, upgrading that membership, buying that extra bit of merchandise, putting that extra bit of money into the club, making sure that they go to an interstate trip. And then when it turns bad, when the promises are not kept and the season ends, and then you see a performance like last week with a really low tackle count, and, really almost like a giving up almost against an arch rival, it spills out. And it's just a wider reflection of where we're at. And it's just a sad sight. And so how do you garner support, and how do you create a better environment for the players to feel less stress? Because clearly the stress, the anxiety of it all, it's just too much for them to cope. Last week we heard that they were trying to I went to the Kerno residence, got away, bit of kumbaya, bit of eat, pray, love. That seemingly didn't work. And again, the same story. They've just got to work through it. That's, my take on it all is, don't sack the coach. Don't give the players a scapegoat. Make them grow from this. This period right now, the way I look at it, this is the test. It's the test of their careers. The club have been pretty staunch on the fact that they're not sacking Vossi. They're going to wait till the end of the year. So they're not giving the players that quote unquote release, and I'm sure they don't want their coach to be sacked. I'm sure they don't want their own teammates to leave the club. They don't want to be doing this, but the reality is they are. And, they are held to a higher standard than the common man because they play in this professional environment. The fans pay to play. We pay to go and watch. We pay to be a part of it. The players are paid to play. So it's a bit different, and that dynamic is different. And this all comes back to that conversation around, do the club really know, and do they really communicate to who the fans are? Do we have a unified identity? Because I see a club talking to a section of the fan base, but not the majority of the fan base. So everyone's got a challenge, got to embrace the heat. This is the heat. This is the hardest time to be supporting the club. At the end of the year, decisions will be made and changes will be made, whether that's players, coaches, admin, that's all coming. So what are we going to do talking about sack him now when it's coming at the end of the year? So we know changes will be made. At the moment, we've just got to find something with the players and whoever else that we know can deal with the heat. And through that, they will be part of the future. We're supporting this club forever until we die. We'll be watching every single week. Every single week when that first bounce happens, when that ball hits the ground, we're all tuning in, whether we're at the ground, whether we're on TV. So it may just not be this year. Is there a pressure release on them? Because is there a feeling inside that, you know what, we've got nothing to lose now. We might as well just go for it. I don't know. But surely at some point this year, we're going to have something to get excited about. Is it really only going to be the first 4 rounds when we were, undefeated, even though those wins weren't convincing, but they were wins nonetheless. So the other part as well, I don't think we've lost 7 in a row with this group. Even at the times with the early parts of this group, with Bolts, we might have lost 6 or 7 in a row. But 7 in a row, surely not. It could happen. The way we're playing right now does not suggest that we are able to win a game of football. It doesn't. There's nothing that I've seen over the last few weeks that suggests we are capable of mentally being where we need to be to execute what we need to execute to win a game of football. I hope something happens. I hope a release happens and they get it done. But based off what we've seen, there's nothing to suggest that it's going to happen. So I go this week just to enjoy the company. I'm going to the President's Club function this week as part of the Corey Durden sponsorship. So I'm going with one of my best friends from childhood. So that'll be good. We'll go there and drink the beers and have the 3-course meal and hear the speech. And I don't know, whatever promises are going to be made in that speech. That's going to be interesting. But it'll be fun. And, I go there and just hope for something. I hope to get excited. I hope to be excited on Sunday. Harry Mackay plays his 100th game. What a journey. He's now, entering that close to, if not already past the halfway mark of his career. So, we congratulate Harry. Hopefully he's feeling good about himself. They get up, they get around him. Hopefully it sparks something. And, we do that. Now, when it comes to our changes, what we know right now is Hewitt is back in full training and he'll be available this week. So I would think he's going to come in and play. Pito's a test. I think if he's anything close to available, he'll play. I think Newman's the other one. He's a test. And so I think if he's close to being available, he'll play. But we'll see. The selections will be made on Friday. They'll be critiqued one way or another, and we just rock up on Sunday and see what happens. The Suns, I love the Suns. I actually do. I like what they're about. They're competitive. They're tough. They just have a crack. They don't have the best record, granted, in Melbourne or at the MCG. But they go for it. They've won 2 in a row. They've beaten top 8 sides. They came awfully close to beating Melbourne the other week and lost by 5 points. So their form line is strong. And so for them, they're thinking this is it's a great opportunity for them to get in touch with the 8 and really put themselves in there. So they've got, it's high stakes for both clubs. For us, it's how far down the rabbit hole can we go? And for them, it's, boys, we're a chance to put ourselves in the 8 this weekend. So we'll see. We have this game, we have the bye, and then we go from there. I think overall, we've just got to find a way to stick together. I think at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want success. We all want premierships, and people feel it and express it in different ways. And tolerance is just, it's tough. It's tough to display at the moment because we're watching it all start to spill over. And I think one of the fears for me this week is what happens if we do it again? What happens if they perform like they've been performing over the last 6 weeks again? what's that reaction going to be like over the fence? So, yeah. If you're going and your emotions get the better of you, just take a deep breath before you say anything and just think. Coming from someone who's done it, I haven't said the words that were said last week, but coming from someone who stood at the top of the race and told them it was not good enough, just take a deep breath. There's always going to be next week. There's always going to be next year. I'm not accepting mediocrity. I'm accepting reality. It doesn't look like it's going to be this year for the Carlton Football Club. So we have to start looking ahead and start planning for the future. That's what it feels like for me at the moment. And that's just the truth. So what about you? What is your situation on Sunday? Are you really not going? Are you really not going on Sunday? Come on. We've got the bye coming up. Sunday afternoon football. Are you really not going? If you're not, where are you watching? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you do with the team this week. Are you ready to just, change it completely? Or are you, still holding on to those that are going to be helpful for us to win the game? Chat to you in the comments. Take it easy. Go Blues.